What's good? It's your boy Big Verb, and this is my breakdown and reaction of UFC 322 in New York last night. First fight, Camilo, not super impressive. Got what he needed to do with the grappling, but definitely lacking on the striking. Definitely had his moments, but very close to losing that fight. He gave away too many moments to that old head. You can definitely see Borsharav wanted to steal that fight from him, but just didn't do enough to seal it, or the judges didn't feel that way at least. Next fight to the biggest favorite, minus 1,000, Chimaev's friend. Not an impressive performance either. You know, everyone's expecting these quick knockouts. Definitely had to find it. He found it in round 3, got it done, but definitely faced a little adversity. But once again, not impressed with this display, to be honest with you. If he wants to be this big name, he's got to do more. Stop laughing while you're getting pinned up against the cage and get out of it and do something. Third fight, Klein. I think she looked great. I don't know how Angela Hill is still eating all these punches at 40 years old. Nonetheless, Klein got it done. Decision. She almost maybe got the finish towards the end of the third round, but just ran out of time, honestly. Hill needs to start talking about retirement. I know, I mean, it's probably nice to collect these checks at 40, but come on now. 18 and 16. What are we doing? Pat Sabatini looked great. The grappling dominance was definitely on display. He was just ahead of the game on these scrambles. But he definitely took some damage. Chepe was definitely the one that gave the damage in the fight, but Pat just controlled the ground game for the most part, found ways to seal off the rounds to make them his. Great overall performance by Pat. Third, Kyle and Gerald. You know, it's kind of what we expected to happen. Unfortunately, Gerald's on a downhill spiral. Kyle's, you know, going up, cut from the UFC, did the regional scene, came back. Now he's got 2 first-round finishes back to back. Looks great. You know, super happy for him. Malcolm Wellmaker, definitely a little disappointing. He definitely met his match. Unfortunately, you know, shout out to him for still taking these fights. He had 2 cancellations, one, you know, I think Thursday or Wednesday. And then to continue to take these fights says a lot. You know, he's down to scrap with whoever, but unfortunately the guy, he ended up being down to scrap for, you know, a third time around, just ended up taking advantage of the moment and was a little bit better everywhere. But good learning experience, I think, for Malcolm. And with Ewing, or however you pronounce his name, super excited to what he brings to UFC, because he's definitely got a lot of potential. Second women's MMA fight. Erin looked great. Tracy definitely had her moments in the first round with the striking. Definitely better on the striking. But once Erin got a little comfortable, she had her moments too in the first round. But then Erin decided, you know, done with the striking. We're going to do some grappling. Started taking her down. And then, you know, towards the end of the second round, kind of got like a weird push against the fence to Tracy, and Erin just kind of slipped her hands in a weird fashion, but got it under the neck in a tight, and then just kind of had to reposition herself to find the choke, which she did, and she's the first person to finish Tracy Cortez. Very good win. I know it got the attention of Valentina because she mentioned it. So, you know, good for Erin. Definitely deserved, but not surprised. RoboCop got his win by decision, beat Roman. He's got the power, man. He didn't gas out, just got that power, did a lot of damage to Roman. You could see it on his face. Robo barely took any. Great win for him. You know, sucks for Roman. I'm not sure, you know, what they're going to do with him after this. Then we're going to go to the feature prelim, Bo Nickel versus Vieira. Bo Nickel looked good, you know, definitely showcased some striking improvement. Not that Vieira is a big striker at all, but nonetheless, head kick KO was very impressive. Did not see it coming. Definitely probably got some love for the fans back. Not a boring fight. It was pretty good. I was pretty entertained and happy with watching that. And I'm happy for Bo to get him back in that win column, but I also think this fight was set up for him to get back in it, but he got it done in good fashion. We're going to move to the main card. St. Denis versus Beneil. Beneil got knocked out. First punch he basically took. Beneil tried to be a little aggressive at the start, and it just backfired on him. St. Denis caught him kind of behind the ear, and he just dropped, and then St. Denis finished it to where Beneil's body just flattened on the surface. So big win for him. Definitely looks good on the resume. Dariush probably just needs to look at taking a break, or just kind of being a gatekeeper to people coming in the top 10 or top 15, something like that. But he's just got to stay away from these savages. Carlos versus Leon. Leon looked very good in that first round, dominant, definitely easily won that first round. Then I don't know, the commentary mentioned them kind of talking back and forth, so I'm not sure if Carlos got in Leon's head and Leon started to strike with him more, but either way, didn't grapple for the first couple minutes of the round, and which led to his demise. Unfortunately, Carlos with that reach kind of caught him through his guard, stunned him, fell back, and then Carlos finished it, and he was the first person to knock out Leon Edwards, which is a pretty big accomplishment. I'm not sure, kind of the same thing with Dariush, and these other ones. I don't know what you do with Leon now. It just seems like these people lose the title and it's a downhill path after that. Let's move on. Morales versus Brady. It reminded me a lot of the Belal versus Brady fight. It's just like Brady finds people with straight hands and he just can't take it, man. They just beat him the fuck up. I just don't know what Brady's game plan was. Maybe Morales, and I know Morales was kind of being low, so the hips weren't available, but I'm not sure what the game plan was for Brady because it did not work out for him. He got stung super early into that fight. It just went south for him really quick, man. First round knockout, which is crazy to do to Sean Brady. But I don't know what Sean Brady needs to do to improve, but between that Belal performance and this one, it just seems like once he goes against a really powerful, great striker, he just falls apart. They sting him and he falls apart. He can't get the takedowns. And it's just all downhill from there. Shout out to Morale. Great win. I see him fighting for the title next at 170. Co-main, Valentina, super dominant. Very impressive win. I know people are going to say it's boring, but, it takes two to tango. She took advantage of the grappling. Weili had nothing for her absolutely nothing for her on the ground. If Valentina got her down, she was there the rest of the round. Definitely is what I expected. I didn't think this was going to be some war back and forth. I did think it'd be more of a clinch war, which they did clinch a little bit, but every time, Weili got too close, Valentina basically just kind of tossed her or had some really good Muay Thai trips. So congrats to Valentina, kept the belt. I think that's her 11th defense or something insane like that. So shout out to her. Great win. I think Weili probably goes back down to her division and stays there, unfortunately. Valentina did talk about a few possible opponents. I'm interested to see who comes from that. So we'll see what happens. Last but not least, main event, JDM had nothing, and I repeat, nothing for Islam, as expected. I called it on the MMA Control podcast. This was going to be DDP versus Chimaev all over again. Literally exactly what it was. He got dominated on the ground, had nothing for him. I don't even know how many punches Jack actually landed on Islam because Islam's face looked great in the post-fight interview. So congratulations. Both of those title fights went kind of how I expected. So great overall fight. A lot of cool knockouts. I understand where, they think the championship fights were boring, but these people found where the weakness was in their opponents, which was grappling and being on bottom. And they took advantage of it. I ain't mad at it. They both got their belts and they're champions. And I don't see anyone in Valentina's division giving her a problem. Ever. I think she can do this forever, to be honest with you at this point. She is a 100% committed fighter. She don't have no boyfriend. She don't have no kids. This is her life. Islam, you already know how these Dagestanis are. But either way, great card. I think it lived up to the hype for the most part, minus the Islam and JDM fight. I think people expected more striking, but Jack just couldn't do nothing with those takedowns. He didn't defend one takedown. If he got taken down, he was there for at least 2 minutes. But great fight. I'll be interested to see the matchups after this. Let me know in the comments, who you think should be fighting who next. What were your thoughts on the event? I personally enjoyed it. Glad I didn't go, as weird as that sounds. I think I've been to too many UFC events where it was grappling heavy towards the end, and I definitely would have probably fell asleep, to be honest with you. But either way, great fights and great night. But have a good day. Be easy. Watch out for my next video for this upcoming week.